Okay, today I've got one that is nothing too crazy, but I wanted to show you how you could get in trouble pretty quickly and create an expensive mistake and then upset customer pretty quick. And I mean, it could be very easily misdiagnosed. So let me show you what I'm talking about. The car in question is this older. It's a 98, I believe, 528 BMW. And the customer's complaint is that the RPMs were just staying too high and basically looks like there's some transmission problems. So first things first, let me just show you what it does. So put it in drive and go forward. And there was a shift to second gear. And I'll get on the road. There was an A shift there. And now we just continue, and it's not shifting, it's not continuing forward, and the gear changes. So again, from a stop, I'll show you. And right now it looks like it's still stuck in that gear where it's not shifting up. It's just hanging in that gear. So I'll pull back to the shop and I'll show you what's going on. Okay, so first things first, I connected the scanner to the diagnostic port. On this one, it's under the hood. That's the factory diagnostic port. That's where you'll get all your modules, not just the DME. So let's go to drive, and I want to look at the transmission. Okay, so we are in. Continue, read faults. And there is no faults present in the transmission control unit. Now, this car currently does not shift properly, and we are getting 0 codes in the transmission control unit. And just out of curiosity, since the check engine light was on, let's check the DME. And okay, so a Vanos, and then some basically fuel trim codes. Okay, and so after going into the DME and EGS, not sure if you noticed, but the ABS lights were on. So here is the ASC, which is basically traction control. And let's see what faults we have. So we currently have 2 wheel speed sensor faults. Now, I'll tell you right off the bat, this one I created. This one is the one that came in with. And so let's look at the 2 front. We'll graph them. Pick up the second one. So right now we've got both being graphed. So we'll move. Okay, so let's see which one. So that is the front right. If we take the front right away and just leave front left, we get nothing. There you go. So we currently are having a front left wheel speed sensor fault, which is causing the ABS lights to turn on. So we raised the vehicle up to take a look at the speed sensor in the front left, and this is what we found. So clearly this needs a sensor. So basically what ended up happening, we put the new sensor in. It was a factory sensor, and we spun the wheel while watching the scan data on the lift, and the wheel speed did not go up. So then at that point, we get into testing the wiring, back to the module. We tricked the module, made the right side wired into the left bearing, and spun it. And at that point, we saw the speed climb up in the scanner, so we knew the bearing hub, all that, and sensor was okay. It was a problem with the module. We could not get the speed to start reading on the front left data after all the wiring was checked and the new sensor was installed. And also another piece of advice, this unit here is not the actual ABS unit like we've come to know in today's car. The ABS control unit in this generation is behind the glove box, and it's a separate control unit. The one outside under the hood is what they call the hydraulic unit, and it has just maybe 12 wires, and it just controls the solenoid valves and the pump. So at this point, I determined that we needed to replace this and check and make sure, verify that we can get some speed data being logged in the ABS computer, and then I want to test drive the vehicle, see what the transmission does. Now, this being as old as it is, I'm sure we can just install it and not worry about VIN mismatch or any of that. So key is on. We'll go back into ABS. Take a look if there's any codes from the previous module. If not, we'll clear the fault memory anyways, and we will test drive and check the data, see if we get any speed signals being recorded. Okay, so we'll go in now that the new module is plugged in and see what if there's any faults. We'll clear them. We'll test drive, see if we can get some speed being recorded and logged for the front left. Okay, so we are in. And that noise was actually this throttle being actuated. That's controlled by the ASC. It's kind of like a second throttle. It would close off to reduce torque. That's how it helped control the traction. So let's see. Okay. No fault codes. So no wheel speed sensor. Let's go get the two fronts. Okay, we'll graph them. We'll get the second one. And let's see. Okay, you see both orange and blue. Let's see. Let's take the front right away. And so front and left is present. And don't be alarmed about the ABS lights. It's only because we are in the module in diagnostic mode. So I'll show you. We'll back out of it. and then the lights should go out. There you go. So no more trouble codes. We know we are logging wheel speed for all the wheels now. And let's take a test drive, see how the transmission is. Back outside, we are in drive. We'll take the same path and see if we get more than a couple of gears. Okay, there's one shift, there's another, and there's another. So we are clearly shifting all gears upwards properly after fixing an ABS issue. So there you go. Talk about chain of events and what ended up causing the final symptom. This, again, very easily can be confused for transmission problems. Maybe somewhere else could have been just recommended to sell a transmission, never looked into wheel speed sensor, and even then after replacing it, still having a speed sensor problem. This could have spiraled a whole different direction than what it did. Luckily, she brought it here. Got it fixed, figured out, and it should all be okay. And one thing I did want to make note of, this sensor was not fully split open like this. I ended up splitting it. They were still kind of touching together, but they were bare. I ended up splitting them and using this end along with exposed wires for testing. And one last transparency thing that I wanted to be open about is when I pulled it in to replace the computer that obviously I had to get shipped in, the lights for ABS went out. So I don't know if the original one for some reason came back to life with that circuit or whatever, but I still wanted to just completely get this one out, knowing that it acted out and wigged out and wouldn't come back the other day we were doing all the testing on. So I feel better just completely replacing it with the completely different known good unit and shipping the vehicle out that way. So that's all on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it and it helps some of you guys out there to remember to test all other systems in order to hopefully not get in trouble and make the wrong call. So thank you for watching. That's all for this one.